this session is going to be a session for the public group of Stockbaba. I mean, I suddenly realized that there would be a lot of people who would be going through pain. There would be a lot of people who would be, having a mental anguish. A lot of people are going to try to act smart and try to do funny things in the market using options, and then end up losing money and then get confused. So, hi Bhavin, good evening. So I thought it's the best to take a public webinar to help people out who need our help. There are some people who need our help. There are some people who need our help, but they don't want to take it. It's up to them. So I thought I should do my bit, so I feel good in life that I have done my bit. So this webinar is going to be followed by a specific webinar for IMS for my students, which starts at 8:45 in the evening. So after this, 9:45. So we'll finish off the public webinar. I close that webinar, and then we start with the specific webinar where I'm going to give you a little bit of mindset. I'm going to give you a little bit of psychological lessons. I'm going to tell you about the approach by how do you use your systems for your benefit. How is that? What is that you look out for? What are the danger zones? All that. So I've demarcated into two different parts. One for public, because what I've taught most of the people would not know. There is no point of me, talking jargons. So far jargons. And then I could get a little bit more specific and drill down a little bit more so that students are able to actually make some money out of it. So first part probably would be about not losing money. The second part, because I cannot tell people what they have to do in their life or what they have to do in the market. They will do what they have to. But let me give my 2 bits so that they don't lose too much money, if at all, or if they're able to make money. And then we move on to our student category, where we will actually sit down and look at different strategies where we can make money. So does that sound good? Is this is bifurcation sound good? So let's see how long this webinar goes on. It is about what time is it now? It's 9:03. So we always start about 2 minutes late because everything in our life in India happens in 2 minutes. So 9 o'clock in the evening is 9:02, 9:03, right? So welcome everybody. Welcome to the webinar. Thanks for coming. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate you because you guys have taken out your time to give to me, to hear me out. And I hope I will be able to deliver value to you. So if anybody has any questions, any doubts, if you have anything that you have in your mind, does anybody want to ask me any questions? Does anybody want to ask me anything that you have? So let me just go through all the questions, because these questions are going to come onto my screen and I can see those questions. So if you have those questions, then please type those questions so that I understand if you have a particular anxiety, if you have any particular kind of doubts, if you have any particular kind of blockages in your head, if you are losing money somewhere, if you want to ask stock specific, you can ask me. If you want to ask about your investing, you can ask me. If you want to ask me about your mutual funds, you can ask me. If you want to ask what should be done, please go ahead. Like I said, it's AMA, ask me anything. So you can really ask me anything specific to the stock market. Don't ask me personal questions. I might answer them and scare you. So don't do that. But yeah, do ask me about the stock market and I'll be able to help you. So anybody else, anybody like that? All right. So if you don't have it, then let me ask you a question. Okay. So what do you guys think about what's going on? What do you guys think about what's going on? What do you guys think about what has happened so far? Where do you see the way the market moves? So my question is, where do you see the way the market moves? Where do you see the market going, or what's happening in the market? Does anybody have any clue? There's panic. Shubhendru Nandan says there is panic in the market. Anybody else? Anybody else that wants to say? Yeah, there is panic. Yeah, but you have. Is that your view for coronavirus? Is that what's happening in the market. So Deepa says there is volatility. Yeah, you're right. There's panic, there's volatility. Okay, so while you guys might want to answer it in a different manner, here's what I have to say. So I'm going to say a couple of things to you, see whether it makes any sense. So here's what has happened now. So what has happened is in last fear and greed, in last since the last week of December, there has been a virus which has started spreading and it has gone viral. The true word viral, which is called as COVID now, COVID-19. So it started in a place called Wuhan and then it kind of spread. Now, why it happened, really nobody knows. There are different theories to it. There are different postulates to it. But why it has really happened, really nobody knows, right? It could be, there are some people saying that it could be because people have been eating exotic animals. So one got infected, that virus skipped over across, so it moved away from animals. And so in China, they eat a lot of funny things in life, right? I've personally seen a lot of people, Chinese and a lot of Southeast Asians eat a lot of funny things. So yeah, that happens. So that happened. The virus transmuted across to the world. It started spreading in China. Chinese government, like the way they always do, they suppressed information. The suppressed information, it kind of kept on spreading. It further suppressed information. Somewhere down the line, there was a lockdown, and it started moving from Wuhan region to other regions, and then it started growing. And then it has now moved to so the major sites now. And I've been tracking it very, very diligently for last 1.5 months. So I've been tracking it. I've been looking at it. I've been seeing because for me, it is a understanding about what happens in the world and in the markets and how the markets get affected. Also, it also gives me a little bit of thing about how virality works. So, but this is not the first time it has happened in life. Earlier, there has been a black plague which has happened. So this is not the first time it has happened in 1916, 1919. Just after the World War One, or during the World War One, there was a black plague which happened. It has happened a couple of times. It's happened once. They say once a century it happens. Then the similar kind of thing happened in SARS, which happened in 2003. So SARS is again a severe acute respiratory disorder. Yeah, SARS happened. Then there MERS happened, and so there are a couple of things which have happened. So it's not the first time. And now SARS, MERS, COVID is of the same group. It is the same virus strain which has happened now. There is one theory which says that this could be because there is a biological weapon which has been used. So there has been there could be a biological weapon. There has also been that Wuhan has a level 5 laboratory where they make biological weapons. So there is virus has escaped from Wuhan earlier in 2005 or 2007 also. So there has been a scare. Chinese being Chinese, they do funny things in life. So there has been a release of virus earlier, yeah, from the same place where it was. But let's not get into what happened, why it happened, because you really don't know. Whatever we are reading, we are trying to use our head, and so some of it would be pure data, some of it would be adulterated data. But here's what the point is. The point is that it started in China. And that is important because the Chinese government has a habit of suppressing information massively. Now, that is the point, okay? Point is not that it is a virus and spreading. That is happening. It could have happened out of an African country. Ebola has happened earlier. So Ebola has happened, anthrax has happened. So I'm not coming from that point. The point is, if it is happening in Africa, all the world community will come down to Africa and try to compress it, right? Africa does not have its own immune system in any case. But the moment it happens in China, outsiders are not allowed inside China. Information from China does not leak outside. So first and number one thing, which is the most dangerous part, apart from the virus, is lack of information. Lack of information, dispersion of wrong information, suppression of information by Chinese, which means understand you really don't know how big this problem is currently. You don't know how big the problem is. It has not been quantified. Even if it is quantified, there is no way of checking the data. Okay, for all practical purposes, China, but the problem could have been would be massive in China But because of that, because Chinese government is sensitive that way, they would suppress it. Also, most of the manufacturing around the world happens in China. So if you are going to suppress information, you are going to create fear, you are going to create panic, and you are going to create confusion. So when you have fear and confusion and panic, that's really, really bad. Okay. And if that whole thing is covered in an envelope of secrecy where you are confused about being confused, then that is really, really scary. So if you are really ask me what is the problem here, the problem is not about the virus which could be contained. The problem is not about confusion, which again can be suppressed, but there is a fear and there is a confusion about confusion, which means you really don't know what the Chinese are going to say, and you don't know whether whatever the Chinese are saying can be trusted or not. So that is the real problem. And because of that, you cannot analyze the data. And because you cannot analyze the data, you cannot take a decision. So here's what I want to really get to. One, there is no data. If there is data, it's forged data. If it is forged data, you cannot trust the data. And so you don't know how big the problem is. So hence you cannot take decisions. You don't know what the real actual problem is. We don't know how long the China is going to be shut. Is it going to be shut for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year? You don't know. You don't know how the entire the system which is based on production is going to be affected. Okay. Because a lot of companies work in just-in-time kind of situation, yeah, especially the Japanese company. Now it's all again spread. So Japan has it. Because I've traveled a lot in Southeast Asia, I know that there is a lot of tourists who come to Southeast Asia from China. So if a lot of tourists, like serious level tourists, who come to Southeast Asia from China, so and they just keep on flying, and there are hordes and hordes of tourists. So if that is the case, Southeast Asia somewhere is going to be affected. Uh, Thailand already has been. There's a massive. Again, there is a lot of suppression in the Middle East, like UAE. So UAE, you don't know what is really happening. UAE again, government has a habit of suppressing things. Or what I've heard from my sources is that there are scarce things happening in UAE. Schools have been shut down a little earlier. The UAE has this 2020, Expo 2020, so obviously they don't want to panic people and they don't want to shut up. But the way I see it is that they are already into trouble, because most of the work from China, which is going to come to UAE, is into trouble. So UAE is going to suppress information. Italy has been affected. You don't know. Iran has been affected now. It's all come to India. So point what I'm trying to get towards, I'm really not in love with analyzing what's happening where. I have been checking it. So here's I had picked up some data from coronavirus site. If you want, I can put that site on for everybody to see. And what it says, what my analysis was here is that the speed at which it is growing, it is massive. Yeah, the speed at which it is growing. So if you look at it from a linear scale point of view, it is just going up like a rocket, which means about uh, 1 month back, there were 24,000 cases. Now there are 90,000 cases and growing. 1 month back, there were about 500 people dead. Now there are 3,200 people dead. So the speed at which it is growing is massive. And if it is mushrooming at different places, then a lot of governments are going to get affected. Now, why is that important to us? Why is this information important to us? So I really don't know what is really happening or whether it can be contained. What is interesting to me is that one, there is going to be suppression from the governments. That piece of information is very, very critical, which means you are just as confused as I am, or anybody on earth is just as confused as anybody else. You have to understand this. So whether you are the government, you really don't know, because I might be sitting at home and I might be infected. The gestation period of this virus is about 20 days. 20 days, which means for 20 days, you really don't know whether you are affected. So you won't show any symptoms. And even when you don't show symptoms, you are contagious, which means you really don't know. So what I'm trying to say to you is that there is a massive, this could really go viral. And while this could go viral, what I am looking at the buzzword is there is a lack of data. And because there is a lack of data, there is a lack of decisions, even by the bigger guys, which means even by institutional investors or institutional traders, or even by governments. Okay, because they're also massively affected. So once you understand this parameters, now what happens of that onto the markets? What happens onto the markets is that markets in last 7 days markets have crashed. Now you'll ask me, well, does that mean the markets have really discounted that? Answer is no. See, you have to understand that the American markets anyway were highly trending. Okay, anyway had gone up massively. So let me just pull up a chart of the American markets, and so that you understand what I'm saying to you. Yeah. So I'm just kind of playing the devil's advocate and see very objectively what is really happening and what is whether it is making sense or not. So I don't want to comment on the data, but I want to comment on the decision making capability or what I'm able to see in the market from there. So what I understand is that for last 3 years or 4 years, American markets have been massively trending and trending up. So a lot of people have been making money. So let me just see. This is the American market, right? So this is S&P 500. And let's see it from this point of view. So this is the market. This is how it has been trending. So since 2009 or 2000, let's not say 2009, say 2013 onwards, for last 7 years. Okay, from 7 years, market has just been going. So this is 2013. From 7 years, market has just been going up. So it has gone up from 1400 level to 3000 level, 3400 level, 1400 to 3400. Now, in that case, if there is a bad news and everybody is confused and everybody has fear because nobody has qualitative data and nobody is able to interpret, then there is a chance that there is going to be a pullback. There is so if you talk in retail terms, it's called as a pullback. In professional terms, you call it as a retracement. Now, if you ask me from a professional point of view, as far as reactions from people is concerned, is this a knee-jerk reaction? Answer is yes. Is this a reaction which will alarm me today? The answer is no. Like if you see it from this point of view, see there has been reactions. It has come down. It has gone up. It has come down. Impulse, retracement, impulse, retracement, impulse, retracement, impulse, retracement. So far there has been a reaction. There has been a retracement. There has been a pullback. Now, at this point of time, does that mean that there is a panic situation? The answer is yes and no. Yes, why? Because there are people in the world who are panicking. There would be people who would factor that and say, look, I made my money. I want to pull out money, right? So a lot of retailers would pull out money. A lot of professionals, some of the professionals would also pull out money saying, look, I don't know what is happening to the market. So I'm going to sit on the side. And while I'm sitting on the side with my money, I'm sitting on my hands, I would take the money out. So hence this retracement which has happened there. If you see this is called as a gap. Gap is probably because of sell-off and all of a sudden. But the point of the matter is that this is just one second. This is where the coronavirus somewhere started. So coronavirus started in the first week of Jan, and from here also, while it started, it has gone up. Markets have gone up, right? So it's not that markets have not gone up, which means people were taking it a wait and watch attitude, and then there's a reaction. Now, while there is a reaction, it has come down, it has gone up, and it has again gone up. So that reaction has happened. But while that reaction has happened, is it a knee-jerk reaction? As yet, we don't know. Okay, so I want to put it in this manner. There is fear. There is knee-jerk reaction. There is a little bit of people being cautious. Their retailers probably are pulling out money, thinking that they're adding two and two together. That if it is coronavirus, then this will happen. Now, the similar situation which is happening today in coronavirus or COVID is what happened in 2003, which is called as SARS. What happened at that point of time? The markets did crash, but the markets also recovered. Now, that is so. Now, more or less, I have put the scenario on the table, saying that there's a little bit of fear, there's a little bit of panic. But what is realistically would be happening, I will tell you. And this is probably why you are here to attend my session. In this whole scenario, while the markets are going up, markets are going down. Let's go towards the Indian markets. This is the Indian market, right? This is the Indian market. Now, while this is the Indian markets, one second. While the Indian markets have retraced. Obviously, it has come down, and uh, so this has been a selling. So Indian markets also mimic the US markets in a certain manner, and so if the US markets have a pull down, Indian markets also had a pull down. So that panic happens, and these things are happening. And while this is happening, there would be a very high chance that one, professionals like mutual funds, professionals like institutional traders would be buying. So retailers would be selling, professionals would be buying. Okay, retailers would be panicking, professionals sitting down and thinking logically would be buying. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two, the retailers would be selling all the stocks, professionals would be selling stocks which are weaker and buying stocks which are good quality. So understand this. Professionals would be selling stocks which are weaker and which they think will not make the cut, and buying. So this is an opportunity where retailers are panicking and selling off everything, or maybe selling off everything, or going short on the stock. Professionals would also be going short on weak stocks and buying quality stocks, right? So that is a major thing which is happening. So quality stocks are going to hold value. Quality stocks are what? So, to give you an example, people would be selling stones and buying diamonds as far as professionals. Now, the question is, because let's say this COVID virus goes on for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 10 months, right? 11 months max. Somewhere somebody is going to find out a cure. Somewhere somebody is going to find out ways of managing it. Somewhere somebody is going to say that, okay, now we have understood the problem because we have understood the data, because we are finally getting quality data. So the moment you get quality data and you are able to analyze that quality data and catch hold of all the parameters and the variables, then suddenly some part of fear goes away. Panic goes away, some part of fear goes away. We start thinking a little bit. Somewhere is somebody is going to come up with a solution to it, and things will get back to normal. Now, while that happens, somebody who's a professional is already, thinking of that, is already projecting that in the future. So, what would they do? That this would be a time where professionals would get away from bad stocks if they have, and would start buying good quality stocks for their portfolio. That's one part of it. I'm not going towards trading, because trading you require a system for it, and we are not discussing a system right now. Point number two. All the governments are on a red alert. So if a government is on a red alert and the markets start dropping, there is going to be a directive from the government towards RBI, or there is going to be a directive from government towards UTI and other quasi-government institutions saying that start buying quality stuff. So while the government takes all the precautions and takes precautions on paper to come up with various things to keep liquidity in the market, while there is a panic situation, the market may not crash as much. So understand this part. There is a panic situation, people are panicking, people are selling, but government is putting artificial demand in place in one way or the other, or providing liquidity, or doing artificial means. There are multiple means of for government to be taking care of that, and the market may not crash as much as we think it is going to crash. So situation is still bad, but it can be managed. What you have to understand is that human beings are extremely intelligent, and people who are in the government and people who have a lot of money and a lot of power use that intelligence to make sure that things don't go wrong. So while there is a bad situation can be managed. Okay, so this is another aspect of it. So I'm just putting everything up, all the pieces on the table, so that you guys understand what's going on. So realistically, what could happen? Another 2 or 3 months, China could be shut down. Maybe another 6 months, China could be shut down. Now, if China is going to be shut down for the next 6 months, there is going to be a lot of reshuffling happening in the markets. Maybe a lot of business will come down to India. There is a lot of story which goes on saying that Indians have not been affected so much because India is a hot and humid climate, so this virus cannot sustain. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not someone who is in a position to answer it, but it is possible, right? Or we would be able to take a little bit more precautions and things like that. So all these things are possible. What I've seen is all the colder countries have been affected. So a lot of business can come to India. There will be a little bit of rejig around the world. Markets will shut down. While markets will shut down, a lot of weaker players will get out of the market. So stronger players then will become stronger because governments don't want stronger players to get wiped out. So if you ask me what I would do, I would simply wait and watch, not panic, and keep some liquidity on the side as the markets start getting into the places where I wanted to get into. Then I will reshuffle my portfolio if my portfolio is already not bad. But that's not the case. In fact, I was just looking at my portfolio in the morning today. So there are a couple of portfolios which I run for my children and which are sacrosanct or sacred portfolios where I don't take any risk. And I was looking at it that I have actually been making about 17% returns on my portfolio for last 1 year. The last 1 year, I have made 17% return. Market has barely been able to make about 4% returns, but all my portfolios, which I'm the bigger ones, which I'm running as an investment style, have been giving me about 17 or 18% returns, right? So yeah, so there are ways of still managing your portfolio. There are still ways of still making money on your portfolio. It's not that you can't do it. There are techniques of doing it. All you have to do is just learn it and apply it, right? So realistically, what should be doing? So if you see this chart, now this is a chart of Nifty, yeah. And the way, if you look at it, it's a massively uptrending chart. And then it is an uptrend, and it is a retracement, uptrend, retracement, uptrend, retracement, uptrend, retracement, uptrend, retracement. So really, if you see it from an objective point of view, I am not so panicking at this point of time. Now, let us come back to figures. Now, if you ask me from my experience, I've been through the 2008, 2009, I've been to 2002, 2003, I've been to the 99, 2000 crash, I've been through the 97 crash, which is the Asian currency crisis. So I've seen 1994 crash, 1997 crash, 2000, 2003, 2008, 2011. So I've seen all those things, right? And there is a little bit of wisdom which comes out across from that. When you say see means I put my money and I've seen this. So if you ask me realistically, what is to be expected? Let me tell you. One, I feel the lowest place where the market could come down is market could stop somewhere at about 10,700. I'm talking about Nifty, 10,700. If it further goes down, there is a realistic chance that it will come to 10,000. So I'm giving you two figures. One, it can come down to 10,700 and hold. Two, it could come down to 10,000 and hold. Three, the worst case scenario is that it could come down to a level of 9,800. So 10,700, 10,000 and 9,700. But that is not the point. The point is that after that, the market will continue to move sideways. So if it starts going down, okay, realistically, it could come to 10,700 and it could start going sideways. When it starts going sideways, a lot of people who are retailers, a lot of people who have just come to the market, a lot of people who get fascinated by making money very quickly, who don't have patience, who have not learned what stock markets are, who don't take efforts, who don't want to be there for a long term because they can't project it from a long term, they'll get wiped out of the market. And they will lose money, they will go through pain, they'll get wiped out. All the people who are a little intelligent, who are able to use logic, will sit down and say, this is the right opportunity for me. So while the market crashes to those levels, you will be able to pick up gems for yourself. You will be able to ride because you know what the logic is, and you will be able to make money. Now, this is for Nifty. Now, while I discuss that for Nifty, let me give you a little bit of download about different sectors also, so that you guys are a little bit in control, right? So, why you have queries and doubts, please type them. Don't put it on the board right now. I'll tell you when to put it, so that otherwise what happens is you put it on the board and it goes up. Because it goes up, then I'm not able to read it. So if you have, just type it on your notepad and just keep it and I'll explain to you, right? So Nifty 50, I've given you the figures. It comes to about 10,700, 10,000, and worst case scenario is about 9. Worst case scenario, what I can see is about 9,800. Okay, those are the figures for you. As far as pharma is concerned, now some of you guys are going to sit down and do a little bit of addition and subtraction, saying that Nifty pharma is because the way it is going to work out. A lot of people will be buying pharmaceutical drugs, and because of that, the prices of pharmaceutical drugs will go up. Please don't be. I saw somebody commenting like that, but don't go on that logic because that is flawed logic. There are multiple ways. When the government agencies come into play, then they will also squeeze pharma companies dry. So pharma companies might not make money, and if they are not making money, it is not going to show in the balance sheet. So even if you have this beautifully romantic notion that a lot of disease happening in the world, so pharma companies will go up, it's not necessarily true. So there's no direct correlation. Okay, it doesn't work in tandem. As far as IT companies concerned, market will just continue to go sideways for IT companies. So it's going to bore it to death. Auto is something which you need to get away from. So please get away from auto if you want to get. If you are in the mid cap, you are already into trouble for last 3 years or so. So if you are into a mid cap, stay away from mid cap. Sell off from mid cap is what I'm saying. Unless until you are selectively able to pick up stocks which are gems and keep them. But if you don't know what to do, then you are going to get into trouble. So stay away from mid cap. Stay away from small cap. Stay away from doing all these kalakari that most people do in their life, saying that now it has become very, very cheap, so I will buy it and all that. So my point is, stay away from mid cap stocks. If you don't know how to do it, definitely stay away from small cap, because the stocks which are first going to lose money value are going to be mid cap and small cap, and especially the worst ones. So mid cap, small cap, Nifty stocks are the ones which will lose a lot of money or will not make money for you for the next 3 years. Now you will say, well, I bought a stock and it's not lost money. Well, Einstein, you're not doing anything great in life. Okay, if you've not made money, then don't put your money in the stock market. The logic is fairly simple. If you are not making money, don't put your money. You might also put your money into a fixed deposit. See the way I think is, if you are putting money into a fixed deposit, you get about 8% return, and you are taking risk in the market, which means you at least minimum need to get 12% returns in the market. Now, if you are not making money for 3 years, you have lost making 36% returns, which means your 100 rupees have been reduced to about 65 rupees. Okay. So if you're not going to make money, and if you're sure of not making money, please don't put money in the stock market and lose that money. Keep that money on the side. Okay. So this is what I had to say. So if you ask me, where is this whole thing going to go? I don't know. Does anybody in this world know? No, they don't know. If somebody is going to come down and tell you that they know it, they're lying to you. They're making a fool of you, because nobody knows. If they knew, then they would be able to predict it. So don't go by this whole thought that people can predict what is going to happen with this COVID virus and what is going to happen with the market. So this is how I would want to explain it to you, saying this is what is happening in the market. So all in all, bottom line is, 1, stop panicking. 2, now when I say stop panicking, which means, is there fear? Of course there is fear, but I'm saying don't panic. Panic is losing control. Fear is, you know what is the control, you know what is the risk. Use your mind, be a little balanced, take decisions, take the right decisions. There is a difference between taking decisions out of fear, and there's a difference between fear and panic, and there's a difference between taking decisions out of logic. So for you to take decisions out of logic, you need to have some information, some data, processing data, understanding analytical abilities, and understanding the markets, and strategizing for yourself and taking decisions. That's what I'm saying. So go on that part. Okay, don't be hyper reactive in life, right? So do that. Relax. If you feel uncomfortable in the market, get out, because if money in your pocket is always money in your pocket, nobody can take it away from you. You can always enter the market again. Market is going to be around for the next 50 years. COVID virus might be there, might not be there, but markets will be there, right? So again, let me tell you, markets have gone through this earlier. They have gone through this in 2000 and 1916 and 1917, which is the Black Plague. Nothing happened to the market. Market have been bullish. It has happened in 2003. It has happened in 2005 also, during the MERS virus. So this is not new. But if you panic, you're losing the plot and you're losing the game. So relax, chill, If you feel uncomfortable, take the money out. You can always put the money back into the market. Best idea is in this downtime, this is what I do: upgrade your skills. Upgrade your skills. Get into reading. Get into learning. Learn something new. Sharpen your mind. Use your mind as an axe. Grind your axe. Sit down. Be ready for the next uh, wave to come, so that you can ride the wave. Is all I can say to you. Now, anybody's got any questions, any doubts, anything that you want to ask me, you can ask me now. किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन पूछना है, किसी को कोई जॉब, anything that you want to hear from me, this is how it is working. It is, yeah, it has been a little viral, but these things happen in life. Okay, so like I said to you, I mean, in last 1 year, while the whole market has been crashing and burning and everybody says market has been crashing, I have still made 17.5% returns on all my portfolio, and I'm going to sit pretty and I'll still continue to make money. So there are techniques and ways now. So question is, do you want to get there and learn that? Yeah. Would it be wise to take out money from mutual funds? Subhendru Nandan says, will it be wise to take out money from the mutual funds? My answer is yes and no. Now, what does yes mean and what no mean? It all depends on your approach. Okay, it all depends on how long you want to be around. So if you see it from a point of view that, first of all, mutual funds don't make as much money. I mean, if you have attended the Fundu program, you know that they actually don't make money. But still, if you want to go that way, if you hang around, you have to, if you say that you want to be around for the next 5 years of your life, or 10 years, or 15 years, or 20 years, then, I mean, this is the best opportunity for you to buy some mutual funds, right? Or buy some stocks. So if you are able to actually time the market and buy some quality stocks, you will make returns like nobody's business. So similarly, if you have mutual funds and you have that outlook saying that everybody else is panicking, and while everybody else is panicking and everybody else is into the same sea infested with sharks, and if you keep your mind and use your mind, then you will be able to make a lot of money out of it. So it depends on you. What would I do? I'm going to stay put. I'm going to stay put. Yeah, if I see, if I see there is some panic happening, and if I see that it is not fitting my logic, I'll get out. But then for me to take a decision to take a loss and get out and get back into the market, it takes me exactly about 10 minutes. And I'm not going to wait for somebody else to advise me. So if I see an opportunity, if I see that there is panic, and if I see there is something going wrong, I can liquidate my entire portfolio in exactly about 10 minutes and get out and sit on cash, pretty cash for as much as next 2 years, and I will not get bothered at all. But not everybody can do that, right? And then I can quickly get into the market at the speed of half an hour and deploy all my funds. So I can go from 100% to 0 to 100% in a matter of 2 hours. But not everybody will be able to do that, because you might not have that conviction, right? So Shubhendru, again, if you are there for the next 10 years of your life, and you should be there for the next 10 years of your life, be around. Don't pull out your money. If you feel uncomfortable, get out. Okay, it's all up to you. Rameshwar Kasture says, what are the things which will show market is stabilizing in near terms? The price will show, yeah. So how do you come to know that the market is stabilizing? One, the prices will show. So these are the prices. They will show very clearly. Very clearly, yeah. So look at this. It will very clearly show in the prices. It will also very clearly show in the now the good part of what I understand is that let me show you some data. Okay, and this is where I see some sense happening in the world. And this data is the site where China has been. So I've been tracking China, and China seems to have slowed down a bit. So the cases have not moved so much in China. So it's about, there are not too many new deaths happening in China, and there are not too many new cases happening in China. So if you see it, China's new cases are 131. South Korea is 400. Iran is about 600, and Italy ka bhi tak pata nahi. So the active cases have also gone down. There are a lot of people who have recovered. So what it seems and it comes across is that people are getting affected. The young people are not getting bothered. Women are not getting bothered. Men are getting bothered, and older people are the ones who are dying. So basically, anybody who's got an already existing disease and who's old and who has a weak immune system is dying. So basically, the strong ones are surviving, the weak ones are dying, right? Uh, and in China, it seems to be tapered off. So this whole thing, this whole drama started about 15th or 17th of December in China. So which means December to Jan to Feb to March. So in 3 months' time, in China, it has plateaued, and that is where it was very new. Now, so in 3 months, it has plateaued and it is new. Because it was new at that point of time. But now people have understood what is the game. Now people have learning, so they are learning from other governments, which means they could also be a plateau in other in the rest of the countries also, is what I'm feeling. So which means okay, things will become a little bit better, is what I'm assuming. Or somebody will come up with a vaccine, or somebody will come up with a cure, or it looks like people have figured out how to treat it and how to cure it. So you don't know. But what I'm saying is that whatever decisions you take out of data. Whatever decisions you take out of coolness of mind. Whatever decisions you take which is logical decisions. There is no need to panic. Are you understanding? So if I say that I want to be in the market for the next 10 years, and if the market is going to start crashing, I want to buy. I want to be a next buyer. Again, it depends on you. Now, if you are into a trading variety, then you should know what your trades are. You should know what your systems are. Let the systems trigger it off. Take those trades. Make money. Okay? So, Rameshwar, have been able to answer it. So, it is all going to be shown in the price. How do you see in the price? It's all here, right? With the price. See? Fairly simple. It all shows in the price. Now, let me show you a little bit about of Nifty and of Nifty. So Nifty has been going up. This is the price, right? So this is 2008. 2008 trigger happened. It came down. Governments intervened. It went back. So this is 2007 to 2010. In 3 years' time, market went down, killed everybody who was not fit intellectually, and went up and made so much money. I mean, I made so much money here in this deep crevice. Is that I decided that there is no point of me working for others. I might as well sit at home and make money, because I made more money here than I made money in this entire term. So you have the intellectual capability and you know what to do, you're going to make money. I mean, these are the situations people like me wait for. I mean, I want it. This is called as a black swan event. So I wait for stuff like that to happen. So yeah, it's happened in 3 years' time. And then not only did it come down, it went up, it broke up this level, and then it is gone up, and it just gone up. So if you see this, it's just gone up. It's gone up from 4,800 level to 12,000 level. That's triple the time money. So in 8 years, people have tripled their money. I have made money at the rate of about 35% per annum. And my larger portfolios where I don't take any risk. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. I've done it. A lot of my students have done it. A lot of the portfolios which we manage have done it. Can be done easily. Okay, so that is my answer. Anybody else wants to? Anybody else has a question? Yeah. Yeah. Rule of nature: strength survive. So it all looks at the price. So the price is telling you all. So just hang on for some time. Again, if I see something happening, if I see something which is a panic situation, then I'll let you know on the Stockbaba group. You guys can take that free advice with a pinch of salt after asking your esteemed. So I can tell you what I have to say, but you can recheck that, verify that thing from your advisors, and take that. All right. So I think this is where we're going to stop. This is about 9:45. This is where we're going to stop. So thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. I hope I've been able to deliver value to what you want. In about a day or two's time, we will sit down and put the recordings, understand what I'm saying. Use it for yourself, the figures and the information which I've given you, and we'll see what happens. All my students, we will log up and we will log back in 10 minutes time. The link will be put in the IMS group and Super Trader group, and we can have a little bit more discussion there. Okay. So in 10 minutes time. The rest of you guys can log off. I'll see you in another 10 minutes time. Goodbye and good night. Thank you for listening to me. If you have further questions while I put the video link, ask me in Stockbaba questions. I'll see whether I can answer you. Again, I'm doing this only to help people out so that people don't lose money, because it is so painful. It is It is such a painful thing when you see people losing money, which that money could have been used for their parents or for their children or for better things in life. So please don't lose money here. Okay? Goodbye and good night.